You said what is in the right hand? Yes. What is in the right hand? The Bible.
The Bible, your cross over your right hand. Please repeat after me.
Can I get the Bible, please?
Bible, please. You mention my name. I say I, you mention your name. A repeat after me. I do in the name of the Almighty God swear
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the
So help me God.
Okay, we'll start off with Ghana News Agency. Please introduce yourself to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Albert Kofi Owusu. I am the General Manager of Ghana News Agency.
I am Jonas Seshen, Head of Accounts, Ghana News Agency.
I am Euruche Fatili Lisole, Acting Chief Director, Minister of Information.
All right, Ghana News Agency, let's start from paragraph 2190. That is your financials. 2021, you made a profit or a surplus of 971,000 Ghana cedis. But 2022, 1.5 million loss. What happened?
Thank you, Chairman. 2021, in November, we recruited 41 staff. And so their salaries were paid in 2022. And these were arrears of salaries in the previous year, 2021. And then also, we also have compensation allowances paid every quarter, apart from the salaries that are paid on a monthly basis. So in 2021, the third and fourth quarters allowances were in arrears and were all paid in 2022. And that explains the bump in there. And Chairman, I have to also add that we also revalued our fixed assets in 2022, and then it caused depreciation to go up. So we had the salaries of the 41 staff we recruited late in 2021, cascading into 2022, plus the third and fourth quarters allowances that were in arrears paid in 2022, and then you add that to the depreciation as a result of our revalued assets.
Anyway, Ghana News Agency. Let me move on to your management issues. Paragraph 2199, and that will be handled by Honorable Frida.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, it's about lands without title certificates, and that is clearly stated in Section 52 of the PFM Act 2016 Act 992, which states that a principal spending officer of a covered entity, state-owned enterprise, or public corporation shall be responsible for the assets of the institution under the care of the principal spending officer, and shall ensure that proper control systems exist for the custody and management of the entity's assets. The auditors noted during their inspection that Ghana News Agency did not have land title certificates for their lands at various locations where their offices are located. And they recommended to management to secure the lands by obtaining the land title certificates. Have you been able to obtain the land title certificates for your lands?
Mr. Chairman, we obtained the site plans for 3 areas where we have our operations, Ho, Bolgatanga, and Tamale, and submitted these site plans to the Information Ministry. The ministry also forwarded these requests to Lands Commission. We've had meetings with Land Commission, and they've written to us that they're going to work on our request and issue us what we call the certificate of allocation, because these are government lands that will not be leased to public institutions, but they will issue to you certificate of allocation for these 3 areas. So that's what they're waiting. We have letters that support this response and giving them to the auditors.
What about the other areas? And why has it taken you so long a time to initiate the process?
Okay, so we have 4 places where we have our own buildings. The head office in Accra, which is owned by the Ministry of Information. It used to be Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in some years back. And we have Ho, Bolgatanga, and Tamale. Those are the places we have offices. In the other regions where we operate, we actually rent spaces from the coordinating councils or education service. So we don't own landed property in other regions, apart from these 4 I've mentioned. And why it's taking us so long? Yes, Chairman, I have asked myself the same question. GNA is 67 years now, and we apologize. We're doing that. We're going to rectify that problem. 67 years. And we haven't done that. So I would say apologies to committee for not having done that. We're going to do that and make sure from now on we'll have the certificate of allocation for all those sites. Thank you.
So exactly what is the status of the process, and when do you think you can bring finality to this whole land title certificate issue with the Lands Commission and the ministry?
Chairman, I have a letter written to us by the Lands Commission detailing that their officers in these 3 regions will contact my regional managers in those regions and issue us the certificate of allocation. Actually, yesterday I placed a call to the gentleman we met at the Lands Commission. He is on vacation and says that by next week he will be in. We'll get to know, by the end of this month, we should know where the process has reached.
Thank you, Chairman. That will all be all.
You see, the question was title certificates. Those are different from certificate of allocation. Now, in case you have never lived in Ghana before, land titles are very, very serious. In some parts of the country, I won't name those parts, even when you have a title, somebody comes to build on your house. Unfortunately, it happened to me. I have my title. I go to court almost every month. Just because somebody has taken my land. And I'm an individual fighting. But after Abenjuma, nobody cares. Yeah, say say no. Jai so jai. Huh? No, I don't need to translate it. Oh, you don't understand it? Oh, government job. Okay, she will translate it to you. Thank you. The next infraction is on paragraph 2204, and Honorable Kisi will take care of that.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a case of uncollected rent. Total amount 417,824 Ghana cedis. It appears that the major defaulters are 2, Gefmes and Swap Fast Food, and then also Old Tema Station. So can you update us if these rents have been collected, and if they have, how many are in arrears as of today, 2024?
Thank you, Chairman. We have collected a little over 300,000 of the 417,000 debts. As you said, GIFMAs owed the largest, and they have paid. They are in our office and our head office in Accra. They've paid, they've cleared it all. There is a tenant who has absconded. The case is the rent office, that's Swap Restaurant in Bolaga. And then you notice that we also have vendors occupying our Tema station land. We are having issues with the collection there because we actually gave space to the transport unions to operate, and they were supposed to pay us, every month. But according to them, the vendors who sell, foodstuffs and other cooked foods on the premises insist that they will pay directly to us. And when we send teams to go to them, they complain that times are difficult, we should give them some time to pay, and that has been a process. But we are on it. So we've collected about 70% of what is owed us, and I'm sure before the year ends, we should have cleared the backlog.
Audit service, can we confirm the amount if it's been reduced by up to, what, 300,000? I think that's what you said. Okay.
Honorable Chair, out of the 417,824, 303,855.74 recovered, leaving a balance of 113,967. Thank you.
All right, I think, Chairman, that should be it. And is the fast food out of business?
Yes, Chairman, it's out of business, but we are still chasing the gentleman for our money with the Rent Control Office.
All right, Chairman, I think that should be it.
Okay, keep on trying to collect these amounts. It should be in your best interest to do that. Ghana News Agency, you are discharged.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next group is our new Times Corporation. Please introduce yourself to the committee, please.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Martin Edu Owusu, MD New Times Corporation.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Eric Nkum Entry, Acting Chief Accountant.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Dave Agbenu. I'm the editor of the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, we'll start off. You have quite a few infractions, but we'll start off with your financials, and Honorable Aziz will take that.
Thank you, Chairman. Please, can you put your mic off? We are going to look at your financial performance. You have selling and distribution expenditure, and it's reduced from 5.2 million to 4.6 million in 2021. I would like to know why. Is it that you have discovered new ways of selling your newspaper, or what caused the change?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, under the circumstances in which we find ourselves, we resorted to cost-cutting measures, and that has brought us this far.
So what measure is that have you implemented?
Well, previously, we adopted a strategy we call blocking of the loopholes. So wherever we find a loophole, we try to block it.
Looking at your current ratio, it's indicated that there is no change. It means that your 2021 and 2020 still remains the same. Is there anything you would like to assure this committee? Because it means that you will be struggling to meet your short-term financial obligations. Do you have anything you want to assure the committee with that, though the current ratio remains unchanged, but you will still be able to meet your short-term financial obligations?
Mr. Chairman, yes, we'll be able to do that.
Are there indications?
Well, the indications are that we have stepped up our efforts at selling the papers, and then also we have also, as we said, we are trying to reduce the cost of production as well as the administrative expenditures.
Chairman, I yield to you.
This is the Ghanaian Times, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Our new Times Corporation.
New Times Corporation, yes.
And your revenue is 12 million. I thought maybe it would be higher than that. But anyway, you know what you are doing. Let's go to the management issues, paragraph 2218. And that'll be taken by Honorable Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This issue has to do with misappropriation of revenue, 13,271.68, collected by Madam Solome, who decided not to account for the money. According to the auditors, you were asked to recover the money. And in your response, you talk about, you asked the police to invite her to respond to the queries. Management through the Ghana Police Service to invite, management has written to dismiss the lady. Then through the Ghana Police Service, invite her to respond to the audit query. Number one, this is a criminal issue. Number two, we need the money. I don't know how she's coming to answer the audit query. Have you recovered the money? And have you arrested her?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we need the money. So we are pursuing her for the money. And in fact, the last payment she made, I have the receipt in my hand here to show. So we are pursuing her for the money. In fact, you will realize that this very one and the one on top are all the same. It's the same person. Then if you go to the next page, it's the same person. So when you put all the figures together, it was about almost 100,000. So far she's paid, and it is left with 70,275. And the last payment was made in August, just this month. So she's still paying. We are still pursuing her to pay the money.
Where is Madam Solome?
She has been dismissed, Madam. Mr.
Where is Madam Solome? Is she in Ghana? Is she walking around?
Yes, she's in Ghana. The police is handling her. So that one is in the hands of the Ghana police.
Have they recovered part of the money, about almost 40,000, even though in my case, it's only 13,000?
No, Mr.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, that is sorry.
What we can confirm is that the matter has been reported to the police, but as to the recoveries, we do not have any evidence to that.
Chairman, the matter is in the hands of the police.
But see, it's surprising when your revenue is only 12 million and one person embezzles close to 100,000, and there was no mechanism in place to realize that person is embezzling to that point, it's very disheartening. Yes, Honorable Frida.
Chairman, I want to find out from the management, within which space of time did this happen? It didn't happen within a day. It wasn't an overnight thing. It happened within a certain period of time. So what was management doing? It was like Radley said, when you look at the following infractions, it's all about the same Salome. So how did this all happen? How did this whole thing happen? And what measures did you put in place to forestall future occurrences before it went ahead to do all these things?
Mr. Chairman, in the next audit, 2021, the same thing was also identified. So we thought even it was only in 2020, but we realized that even the next year, which was 2021, she has done the same thing. So that is what brought about.
You are the MD, right?
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
Your answer is even more damaging. You didn't realize she has stolen from you until the external auditors came in. Do you have an internal audit unit?
Mr. Chairman, yes, we do.
And your internal auditors couldn't find out. So somebody from outside came in and realized that this person is stealing from you. Do you still have your internal audit unit working? Do you pay them?
Mr. Chairman, as at that time, the internal audit section wasn't that strong enough. So we have now recruited a more qualified person to take over.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, it is important the MD allows us to know exactly what happened. How did it happen? It's not about the span of time. How did it happen?
Mr. Chairman, that is what I've said, that we didn't notice it until the external auditors came in to identify it at that time.
Chairman, I think that we need to be very careful what we say here. As an MD, head of department of an institution, something has happened. You did not find out how that thing happened, so that you put in place measures to curtail that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, maybe my understanding was how she did it. But after the incident has occurred, we got to know about the way and manner she did it.
What was her role? What was he supposed to do?
She was a cashier.
So she received money from people.
Yes, please.
And she did not lodge same into your account.
She adopted various means.
So what are the means? I want to know.
Yes. So that is why I'm saying that after it has been identified, we realized that there were some of the receipts she tore them, and we didn't. She kept them. She tore the receipts and kept them, and then some of the monies too were not banked, and even some of the whole receipts could also not be found. So unfortunately, this is what happened. And she doesn't look like somebody who can do this, but
Chairman.
This is what happened.
MD, I think you are digging deeper and deeper. Honorable Apark.
Chairman, in all honesty, New Times Corporation, you are not looking good. Because if you had an internal audit unit, and this has happened on 2 occasions, you are now telling the committee and Ghanaians that your unit is now robust and capable. Why did you keep an ineffective internal audit team in the first place? And if you were doing your regular checks and balancing your books, I want to believe that the cashier would have been reporting to somebody, a superior. And so if the lady in question had a superior who she was reporting to, that superior should have had documentation about how many receipt booklets had been given, and probably should have been inspecting her work and the collections periodically. So to tell us that this has happened 2 years in a row, truly, this explanation is not satisfactory, Chairman. It cannot be that she was doing this on her own 2 years in a row, and it was proven by external auditors. Chairman, this is an issue that needs to be flagged.
Clerk, please flag this one. I think we need to do a deeper investigation on this. When you have internal auditors and they couldn't find this thing, it took an external auditor. Paragraph 2223, Honorable Apark, please.
Well, it looks like I just made my submission on the matter in question.
Okay.
Because it's missing receipt leaflets from receipt books. The value is indicated at 56,238 Ghana cedis. And the auditor noted that the cashier, Ms. Salome Najda Kwakupom, could not make available for audit scrutiny the original duplicate and triplicate copies of the 7 serially numbered receipt leaflets, which were torn out from 6 receipt books. So it's essentially the same issue that we just narrated.
Is it the same person?
Yes, please.
It's the same person.
The same person.
Chairman, I just want to find out from the MD, do you have a director of finance?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we had a director of finance at that time, but
So it's presumed that this lady,
he's no more there.
This lady reports to the director of finance.
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman.
The method you use the
Hmm?
the original receipt.
This is serious.
Let me finish my question. The auditors have recommended that management should ensure that the receipt booklets are provided for audit scrutiny, failing which the amount quoted being the sum of the average amount collected for the 6 booklets multiplied by the number of torn leaflets into brackets 8,034 Ghana cedis times 7 should be recovered from the cashier. Have you recovered the 56,238 Ghana cedis from Ms. Kwakupom?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think at the initial stage I said that the same person did the same thing for a period of time. So we put the same figure, and that is, since it's the same person, that is the money I have just mentioned that we are, so far what she has paid, and then what is left.
Can you restate that? Because my question is independent of the previous one. How much of the amount has she paid in terms of this particular occurrence? Because there are multiple.
Mr. Chairman, altogether is 27,000. That is what she has paid.
And did you indicate that you've involved the police?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So what is the most recent update from the police?
Well, Mr. Chairman, the lady go to report to them often.
Mr. Chairman, I yield to you.
All right, Honorable Mutala.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a little, auditors, I have a little problem sometimes with some of the recommendations. It is very clear by the explanation given that that person was out to steal. It is very clear. Now, if the recommendation is that the necessary booklets should be provided, and we have seen too many of such recommendations, they go and cook up those booklets, those papers and present them. For how many years now? I think that as a committee, we have the capacity to disagree with some of the recommendations of the Auditor Generals and recommend that the person be made to pay the entire amount of money. Because
honorable member, we spoke about that earlier. Ghana, what? No, New Times Corporation. They were not aware that the girl was even stealing from them. It was the external auditors who came and said, hey, this is missing.
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm not saying that you were aware. I'm only concerned about the recommendations of the auditors.
Yes.
Many instances, we have seen many of such, where people who deliberately engage in such outright robbery of resources of the state are made to get away because they are asked to present the necessary documentation to that effect. No,
this one, they've asked to pay for it.
Yes, so that's why I'm saying that the police inviting him, inviting her, she has not paid in full. So I think that for me, there should be consequences. Sometimes not necessarily paying the amount of money. You can be made to pay the money and also be prosecuted. Because the purpose for such meetings, so that it can serve as deterrent to others who want to engage in such acts.
All right, let's move on. The next infractions on paragraph 2228. And Honorable Bauer will take care of that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. New Times Corporation. You have overdue receivables. And if you look at the table and the amount involved, the amount is about 10,922,000, about 10.9 million Ghana cedis. And if you look at your financial position, your ratio is saying that you struggle to meet your short-term financial obligations as and when they fall due. And you have these monies that you need to recover from your debtors, and you are not collecting them. So the recommendation of the auditors is that you take steps, including legal action, to recover the outstanding amount of 10,922,357.88 Ghana cedis from the affected customers. The table that catalogs the list of debtors is table 330, about 45 of them. So, so tell us, how much of this 10.9 million have you been able to recover? And what steps are you taking to recover the entire amount?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so far we've collected over 2 million out of that money. And we are also issuing demand notices to the debtors. In fact, a lot of this money also is owed by the government agencies. The ministries, department, and the agencies owe us this money, and the payment is slow. So, Mr. Chairman, I want to use this platform to plead with you to also assist us to collect these monies from the government agencies, Mr. Chairman.
MD, at your own place, you can't tell whether somebody is stealing from you or not. Your annual revenue is 10 million. And you want us to go and help you recover 10 million.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not saying
charity begins at home.
Yes, I agree, Mr. Chairman, but I'm not saying go help us to do that. With the private organizations, we are dealing with them. But I said a chunk of this money is for the government institutions. And the payment is slow. And it's difficult to do otherwise. That is why we are also pleading with you to assist us to do that, Mr. Chairman.
The auditors asked you to develop a new policy on credit management. Have you been able to develop that policy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we've been able to do that.
Have you made them available, the policy, have you made a policy available to the auditors?
Yes, we have, Mr. Chairman.
And what steps are you taking to recover the rest of the over 8 million Ghana cedis?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, as I said earlier, first of all, in fact, we have also revamped our credit control unit, and we are also pursuing them with demand notices to be able to get the money from them, Mr. Chairman.
MD, the recommendation was that you should even take legal action. How many of your customers have you taken to court on this money?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have issued such letters to them, but we haven't taken them to court yet because they are paying, the private ones are paying. But as I said, the government institutions are not paying, and there it's difficult to take them to court, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, do you now have their new policy on credit management?
The Chairman, we are here to be given a copy.
MD, I thought you said you give them a copy.
No, Mr. Chairman, we have done that. I'm surprised.
When did you do that? When did you do that, MD?
Mr. Chairman, it was done last 2 weeks. No, in terms of sharing of the documents, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Sufai.
Thank you, Chairman. MD, please, can you kindly share with us some of the government institutions that are not paying?
I think the table catalogs all the debtors. So if you want to find out, look at table 330. Table 330, all everything is there.
Because I was surprised the way you are talking as if they cannot be traced. You are saying they are not paying as if they cannot be traced. They can be traced.
Madam, I didn't
so
say
what efforts?
They cannot be traced. I said the payment is slow. I didn't say they cannot be traced. I said the payment is slow.
Okay.
Now, auditors, can you confirm the payment of the recovery of 2 million?
The Chairman, we cannot also confirm that.
You see, MD.
Chairman, I will yield to you.
MD, let's look at the list over here. I have one over here. Number 34 is DVLA. Everybody knows DVLA. And then it says the corporation does not have details of data. You don't have the details of the data. DVLA.
Mr. Chairman, DVLA continues to be a customer that we deal with. So
but it says over here you don't have details.
Mr. Chairman, this is a surprise to me. Because
MD.
DVLA will deal with DVLA all the time.
MD, let me go further. Were you there for this audit?
Mr. Chairman, I didn't get your question.
Were you there at the time of the audit?
Yes, I was, Mr. Chairman.
Were you asked some questions by the auditors when they came for the audit?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Nobody asked you a question?
No, sir.
Do you have a financial person?
Yes, I do.
So whom did the auditors speak to when they came there?
They dealt with the finance man.
They dealt with a finance person. Now, sir, you have your finance person over here. Now, finance guy, you turn on your mic and let's talk. Did you talk to the auditors when they came?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And you couldn't give them information on those debtors?
Mr. Chairman, regarding DVLA, I'm quite surprised because I don't know the exact information they were asking about their customers.
What about Ministry of Employment and Social Welfare? What about Ministry of Energy? What about Ministry of Interior? Now you come here, you want somebody to help you. You don't even have the information on who and when. You don't have the information even to give to the auditors. Now, finance person, after the audit, did they have an exit conference with you?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
When they had the audit conference, there was an MD there at the time of the exit conference.
Mr. Chairman, yes.
Now he's sitting here telling us that the auditors didn't speak to him. So which one do I take?
Mr. Chairman, I was thinking that you were talking about when, during the time of the audit, when they were doing the auditing, normally they come to...
Exit conference is part of the audit.
Well, Mr. Chairman, then that one is excluded, Mr. Chairman.
And when they came there, I'm sure the auditors introduced themselves and they said they were coming in to do the audit. Or that one too, they didn't tell you?
Said they did.
Now, so they've introduced themselves. We are here to do the audit. They were probably there for about a week or two. Wasn't that the case, sir?
Yes, it was.
Oh, so if they didn't speak to you every day, they spoke to your finance person. And at the exit conference, you were there when they spoke to you. Isn't that so?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And then they gave you, let's move on.
Chairman, one final thing.
Let's move on. Let's move on, please. Paragraph 2234. Honorable Kisi will take care of that.
Chairman, this has to do with receipt books that were not presented for audit. Person who issued in question, Salome Erama is different, and Bernard, Naomi Nate, and Leslie. What is the current update? They said 5 officers, but one Salome is quite high. Irama is a single issue. 34. Okay. That is also even another, or retired impress, yes. That one we're looking at total amount of 156,000 Ghana cedis, 14 staff members involved. And the biggest one I see is one Moses Oredu. I'm actually particularly interested in that one. And then as for the rest, you can give us update as and when.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the one regarding Uridu occurred in 2018. In fact, he also embezzled the money, and as at now, he has been jailed. And he was also asked to pay for the money after he has served his jail term.
Yeah, you can carry on. I mean, the rest, have we recovered the rest or no? There are about 12 others, I believe so.
Yeah.
What's the update?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, some of them have recovered. Those who have not recovered, they have been surcharged.
All right, so what it is that the 117,000, that one is a court proceeding, so if we take that out, there should be about 40,000 plus. And out of the 40,000, how much did we recover, and how much is left?
Mr. Chairman, so far an amount of 12,481 is left with our current regional managers which are holding imprest accounts that is running with them.
All right, Chairman has ruled that we move on. Audit Service, can you just confirm that, then we can move on?
Honorable Chair, out of the 14 officers, 4 have fully retired their imprest, 2 partially provided receipts, and then 1 is in jail. The 7 others are yet to retire their imprest.
Chairman, that'll be it.
The next infraction is on paragraph 2239. Honorable Mutalan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The infraction is unaccounted insurance claim on Nissan pickup with registration number GM1604. The auditors noted that Hollard Insurance notified management in mail dated 10th May 2017 of the payment of an amount of 57,439 Ghana cedis as an insurance claim for the vehicle that was involved in a motor accident in 2016. However, the auditors noted that, in fact, the auditors could not trace the receipt of the claim in the corporation book of accounts, and the details are just in the table. According to the auditors, the possibility of the claim being paid into a wrong account could lead to loss of the funds for the corporation. The advice of the auditors is that management should liaise with the transport and accounts to investigate where the funds were lodged, recover same into the corporation accounts, and provide evidence for audit verification. Have you done the investigation, and have you recovered the total amount of 57,000 Ghana cedis?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have done that, and the money is recovered.
You've recovered the total amount of money?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And it's been paid into the corporation account?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, can you confirm that?
Honorable Chair, the amount has been paid into the First Atlantic Bank with a check number 298587. So we can confirm that the amount has been paid.
Mr. Chairman, I'm done.
Thank you very much, please. The next infraction is on paragraph 2244. Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. Here, the infraction has to do with receipt books not presented for audit. And it has to do with 5 officers. Just like Honorable Mutala was saying, how can somebody come for a receipt book in 2020? The person is not able to account for the receipt book. Then in 2021, you give the same person another receipt book to go and take revenue. My question is that, please, who was the one issuing these receipt books to the officers? Who was responsible in issuing these books to the officers?
Mr. Chairman, is the head of finance.
Is the head of finance here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I think if you read recommendation, paragraph 2247, we recommended to management to ensure that the 29 books are produced and submitted to the audit team. This is where some members are having issues with. Somebody has committed a heinous crime, and the only recommendation is that those books should be recovered. I mean, that's not strong enough. First, are you able to recover these 29 books?
Mr. Chairman, out of the 29, we have recovered 4.
Can you imagine?
And in fact, the four staff were using the books during the time of audit. So
They
when
were using the 29 books.
no, we're using each of them is using one. They go out to collect our
So
monies.
5 staff,
Yes.
you have issued 29 books to them.
No,
Are you
no.
saying that there wasn't accountability?
No, Mr. Chairman. The 4 staff were using one book each.
Okay.
They were on the field during the time of audit. So when the observation were raised, we called them to submit the book for audit, which we have provided.
So what about the other officer?
The other 25 had to do with the cashier.
Exactly.
Salome, yes.
So was she issuing the books to herself, or you were the one issuing the books to her? What you are saying?
Mr. Chairman, ideally that should be the order.
So, I mean, can we conclude that both of you were on bed? Can we make that conclusion?
Mr. Chairman, this was, I wasn't in charge then. So
who was in charge?
The person has to pay. You should be
the person is no longer with us.
The person is not with you?
Yes.
Where is the person? Is the person dead?
Mr. Chairman, he should be there. He should be there. But I haven't.
He's dead.
No, I'm not saying he's dead.
I'm asking if the person is dead or alive.
I don't know, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, this is very serious. I think I'm losing it. I just have to yield to you that you can handle it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
You still want to ask this company, corporation questions? You see, let's do this last one of it. Printing of excess copies of newspapers not properly accounted for. You printed 1,387 copies, and they returned 965. What happened to the excess copies?
Mr. Chairman, they were not SS copies as such.
MD.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman.
Let me tell you something. There used to be a time that if you wanted to take pictures, there's a company, I won't mention that company's name. You have to go and buy a camera, buy a film, put it in the camera, and then, I don't know the company, and then you have to wind it, and then when you take a picture, you take the film out of it, you take it to somebody who would use some chemicals to whatever, do whatever it is, develop it, thank you. And then you hang it out. If you want to print copies, you cut and cut and that company, you are behaving just like that company. Now, I can take movies with my small phone. Ask yourself this question every day you get to office. Why should anybody buy your newspaper? Whatever you print, I can get far better information on my cell phone than what you do. The only reason why I will buy your newspaper is when I need paper to line up my cabinet in the office. Ask yourself, you see, this is very embarrassing over here. This is very embarrassing over here. You are discharged.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, please. Please introduce yourself to the committee.
Amin Al Hassan, the Director General, GBC.
Francis Anava, Director of Finance. John Korasari, Director of Human Resource.
Engineer Awachiamson, Deputy Director General.
George Lomote, Director of Marketing.
Joel Ashi, HR.
We'll look at your financials, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. It's on paragraph 2255. And Honorable Sampson will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You are welcome.
Thank you.
Good. I can see that your company profits, even though you made a loss for 2021, this year, 2022 performance was too terrible. From 227,000 to 8.4 million. And this is as a result of I can see your goods and services expenditure is too high, programs and expenses, so all has to do your expenditure. How do you overspend more than your income?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairman. I think that, first of all, maybe the accounting language, profit and loss, but for us at GBC, we don't work on profit and loss. We offer service. So it depends on the year and the kind of services that we render. And most of the services that we render, you will realize, are not paid for. Now, the biggest factor in the figure that you have seen has to do with personal emoluments, and that is not controlled by management. So if you look at the increase from 52 million to 58 million, and that has to do with increments in salaries and allowances.
And brother, government subvention went up by 6 million. Salary also went up by 8. But if you look at your goods and services, and then the internally generated fund, you got 24 million. But what I'm saying is that all the same, leave the government subvention, which has to do with personal emoluments and personal costs. You can see that as a result of your expenditure, overweighing your income, because your income is 81 million total.
Okay.
But your expenditure is 89. And that is the reason I'm saying that, you see, we need to know that we don't go beyond what we are given to spend.
Right. Thank you.
We're giving you know that your total income you made is 81. But you have spent 89, meaning that there's a deficit of 8 million. Are you getting the story? That is why I'm saying that. Why so? Because with that, it means that as you continue with that trend, you'll get to a point you can't even pay your salaries. Chairman, has to do with their financial position, which I think is not also good. And you can see that with your current ratio, the conclusion is that this indicates that the corporation will not be able to meet its short-term financial liability as they fall due. And that is because you have a liability of 74 million, a total liability of 74 million. And that is where the source of the worry that I said earlier on, that it will be advised that it's better you try to manage your expenditure so that you can avoid this. Chairman, thank you very much.
Okay, your management issues start from 2264, and Honorable Frida will do that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This has to do with uncompetitive procurement, amounting to 533,920. Management noted that payments totaling 533,920.27 for the procurement of goods and services, but did not obtain alternative quotations from at least 3 different sources or approval from the Board of the Public Procurement Authority to use the single source procurement method. And this is detailed as in table 337. I have a tall list of 1 to 34. Majority of them are payments for air tickets, travels, conferences, hotel accommodation, and all that. But I'm particularly interested in 33. The final installment for the purchase of vehicle for Director General, April 2021. What do you have to say to this? Did you go through procurement process?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. You realize that in procurement, there's nothing like final payment. There was an error in putting this together. We had consistently provided evidence of the procurement process that led to the procurement of the vehicle. And we have all the documentation. Now, you can't single out only the final payment and say it wasn't through procurement. The entire procurement process for the official vehicle was done with advertising, tender, committee meeting, and getting the best, the most responsive bidder. We did all of that. This particular is an anomaly for me because it can be only the final payment that we have done procurement. So it was an error in the report.
Can
We
the
have the
auditors
evidence.
attest to this? Can you confirm?
Honorable Chair, this is something that we need to reconcile because we need to get the initial payment, whether they went through the process before the final payment.
Yes, sir.
So
You see, I'm sorry. My worry is this. Was anybody at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation when the external auditors came there?
Honorable Chairman, I was there and I made it very clear with the help of my procurement officer. They brought all the documentations to them, and I don't know why this is here.
They gave you a management letter, right?
We responded and indicated that this need not be in the report because we have all the documentations about the procurement. Why it is here, I cannot answer. Thank you.
Okay. The Auditor General has said that they will do some reconciliation.
Chairman, can Director General confirm that they gave the documents to the auditors for the vehicle or for all the other items stated from 1 to 34?
Okay, so we will want to rather take that out. The vehicles were, just to make it very clear, it wasn't 1 vehicle, it was 7 vehicles, and we provided all of that. Now, the other items, you will realize that when you look at them, they are mainly about air tickets and hotels. Honorable Chairman, we at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, we have what we call barter policy. So when you are going to do a purchase and you have some few challenges, we are open to barter arrangements. So airlines will come to do a barter arrangement with us or some hotels so that when we need their services, we get them at some reduced rates and we balance that with the services we render. Now, when you do barter, the procurement law doesn't kick in. That is why when we do barter deals, it is not procurement per the law, because the procurement law is absent on barter.
Which law are you quoting?
The law that governs our corporate procurement process.
Yours or Ghana?
Oh, Ghana, please.
Okay. Which law is that?
Oh, okay.
Can you quote that law, please?
I will not be able to quote here right away, but I have made personal inquiries to PPA to confirm the status of barter when it comes to procurement, and I was told they don't have any provisions for that. Thank you.
So all of these were on barter system?
Yes. And
every one of them here is on barter system?
Well, we just found out that we have we have to go through each one of them and show. Some of those that we have had cases of not being barter, we have gone ahead to get, I'll give you an example. If you look at 29 is a video wall installer. And when we procured the video wall company only identified one company here, and we had to use that installer to install the video wall. Now, if you were to vary the installer, and there's a problem, you will not be, they will not be liable for any damages. So we had to use them. Now, having used them, when the external auditors came, they drew our attention to it about regularizing it. And we have gone ahead to regularize them.
What you are saying now is different from what you said before. Look, I wouldn't sit here and argue with you on this because the recommendation is for us to sanction you under Section 92 of the Public Procurement Act. I'm very prepared to send you to recommend that we process you to go to court, and then you and the lawyer, you and the judge could argue on that one, okay?
That he sought some information from PPA. Do you have any documentation to that effect, that correspondence between GBC and PPA on the barter system?
Oh, I had this conversation with the PPA boss myself, but what I want to say is this.
Sir, I will just cut it short over here. Clerk, process them to Attorney General, and then they can go and explain it over there. I thought he was coming up with some documents. It's just conversation. Let's move on, please. The next infraction is on paragraph 2269, and Honorable Mutala will take care of that one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Prof. Anthony. Okay. It's a very long one. Mr. Chairman, the infraction is purchases from non-VAT registered persons or entities and failure to obtain VAT invoice. Section 41 of Value Added Tax Act 870 states that a taxable person shall, on making a taxable supply of goods or services, issue to the recipient a tax invoice in the form and with the details that are prescribed by the Commissioner General. It further states that where within 30 calendar days after the date of a supply, a recipient who is taxable person has not received a tax invoice as required under subsection 1, the recipient may request the supplier in writing to provide a tax invoice in respect of the taxable, taxable supply. That's one leg where it is required that you need to request for a taxable invoice. If you come to section 59 of the value added tax again, also states that a person who acquires possession of a deals with any goods or accept the supply of any goods or services having reason to believe that the tax on the supply of the goods or services has not been or will not be paid, or that tax has been or will be falsely reclaimed, commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of not more than 3 times the tax evaded, or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years, or to both. I would want to find out why you think that certain individuals should not suffer the penalty because of the infraction. Now, point 94 of the contract for the valuation of the land at GBC's site, Kanda, between Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and Sof Jonathan IT, Faculty of Built Environment, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, on June 2019 states that the supplier shall present VAT invoices for each stage of payment to the procurement department after the service is rendered. Now, the auditors have noted that management procured various goods and services totaling 121,694 Ghana cedis, non-VAT registered persons or entities. They also noted that the corporation did not obtain VAT invoices or copies of letters from the Ghana Revenue Authority authorizing suppliers to use their own computer-generated VAT invoices for payment totaling 1,174,971 Ghana cedis with tax component Mr. Chairman, just with tax component of 212,000. No, I haven't. I haven't. Okay, 200. Yeah, because there is this flipping that. 212,049 Ghana cedis, 63 pesos made to suppliers and services providers during the year. The details are provided. The table is lengthy, and I guess you are aware of that. Let's look at the recommendation of the auditors. The recommendation of the auditors is that management should obtain the original VAT invoices for the review and provide evidence that VAT of 212,049 Ghana cedis has been paid into Ghana Revenue Authority, and further advise that management should procure from only VAT registered entities. Have you discharged that responsibility expected to be discharged by the auditors?
Thank you. I will invite my Director of Finance to speak to that.
Mr. Chairman, in line with the auditor's recommendation, we've been able to obtain all the VAT invoices. I think the only caveat here is that the last chunk of it came last 2 weeks that we are yet to submit to the auditors. But almost 80% have been submitted to them for the review.
All these transactions happened sometime 2019, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And it took you how many years?
Mr. Chairman, it involves VAT, and we need to chase these organizations for the
I agree, but the law is very clear. That's why I took my time to read us what the law says. Yes. And the various provisions I read, that you ought to have known that before such things are done, you needed to have those VAT invoices. Even though I know you have provided same, and I'm yet to confirm. My challenge is that you knew that you needed to have those things, yet you allowed that to happen for 4 years. Auditors, can you confirm that the necessary, VAT invoices were provided for your observation?
Honorable Chair, out of the 212,049 VAT invoices, at the time of the follow-up, 110 was given to us. The rest are yet to be given to us. Thank you.
Did they provide any plausible reason why they haven't had all?
Honorable Chair, I think he had just explained that some few weeks ago they had the rest and they are yet to give it to us.
I know they have. He was supposed to provide all the necessary documentation. He couldn't get all. I thought that when they were providing part of the total, they would have explained to you why they couldn't get that. You made the recommendation. You expected them to do so. That's why I want to find out from you whether the explanation he has given and whether he gave the explanation to the auditors.
Honorable Chair, we need to get those explanations from the team that went for the follow-up. Thank you.
Chairman, then I yield to you.
Thank you very much. Your next infraction is on paragraph 2276. Honorable Apart, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Paragraph 2276, loss of government lands. Emphasis, land matter. Chairman, I need to pause and take my time. Very frightening. According to the auditors, they noted that GBC obtained lands in various regions since 1960, primarily through allocations from local chiefs of the corporation's operations. Nevertheless, upon conducting physical site verifications and reviewing records to ascertain land ownership, it became evident that successive GBC management since 1960 could not secure or formally register these properties. In a few cases, management was only able to present a site plan under the corporation's name. Chairman, then they go on to give specific examples. GBC owns 4 plots of land in Sehi Bosioso. Sign it here. Good. And that although GBC possesses a site plan in its name, the corporation is yet to complete the formal land registration process. Kumasi Ashanti region. GBC owns a 21.76 acres of land unsecured and unregistered. Jamasi Ashanti region. GBC owns 15 acres of unsecured land. However, it was alleged that the chief of Mampong gave all the land to private individuals, leaving only a plot where GBC stations are currently situated. Mampong Equiapem, a legal dispute exists between GBC and Ani Ansa & Co., a private individual who registered a portion of the land with Lands Commission. However, with the assistance of the police, the individual has been prevented from developing the land. The land covers 2.971 acres. Volta region. Both Huawei Relay Station and the Revenue and Lines Office, covering 14.713 acres, has been encroached upon. Mr. Chairman, according to the auditors, the encroachment resulted in the corporation losing substantial portions of its land. The anomaly could also lead to the loss of revenue that could have been generated from the leasing or renting out of these lands. Additionally, the corporation may incur substantial cost to reclaim the lands from the encroachers. The auditors have recommended that the management should secure the lands acquired by GBC, including registration and fencing of the lands and obtaining the necessary documentation to confirm ownership. What action have you taken with regards to these matters narrated?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairman. I think overall, we have a working around fencing most of some of these lands that we can. The process of going to get a title on them is a very slow process, and as and when we are able, we go ahead to start the process. Some of the lands are in remote areas where the threat is not very imminent now, but in areas where the threat is realistic, we do our best to either wall it or start the process to document these lands.
Chairman,
I'll give you
Chairman,
just
the MD is giving me
a general one.
A general picture. So let's go according to this.
Okay, thank you.
Sevi Boswaso, what is the current state?
The land is available, and the supposed encroachment is not, someone is on the land, but not as encroachment. We don't have a problem with the person's presence. The person is helping us to keep an eye on the rest of the land.
What of the documentation? Have you been able to get documentation from Lands Commission? For this particular...
Our estate department is overwhelmed with the number of lands. They are working on as and when they can, and I will not be able to give exactly where they have reached with this, but they have started the process.
Okay, Kumasi. Yes, please.
Let me ask him a follow-up question on that one. You said somebody is on the land. He's helping you keep an eye on the land. Do you have any MOU with this person? Because you are asking somebody to protect your land for you. Tomorrow, the person will be the owner.
Yes. If you, this particular land was actually from the chief, a gift. And we had this discussion, and the chief gave it to GBC to use. GBC has this understanding of the fact that the chief is helping us keep an eye on the land until we come to regularize and get the documentation. We are working up towards the area. When we get there, we will get the land registered.
Chairman, do I have your permission to proceed?
Go ahead, proceed.
Kumasi Ashanti region.
The land is walled.
Okay.
Kumasi
Walled.
Ashanti is walled.
Okay. Jamasi, Ashanti, what is the state of that, the 15 acres?
Jamasi is, there's no problem with Jamasi. Rather, it is at Ashanti Mampong town. Inside the town, there is encroachment on our land, and it has been a fight between, we went to court with the encroachers, and the chief of Mampong is behind the sale of the land. We have reported this matter to Ashanti Hene Otunfo to intervene on our behalf to reverse the actions of the chief.
But it is in court, but you've also gone ahead to appeal to
Ashanti Hene to
the
help
Ashanti
us
Hene
recover it.
to intervene.
Yes.
Very well. But when you say Jamasi is not in question,
Jamasi is safe. We don't have a problem with the land. There are two issues in the area. When you are entering Ashanti Mampong, Jamasi,
we are talking about Jamasi.
That's why I'm saying that the report failed to make the distinction between Jamasi and Ashanti Mampong. There are two lands of GBC in the area. Jamasi land is not under threat. It is actually on top of the hill with our mast. And there's nobody there. It is only GBC that is there. But what they are referring to with encroachment in the area has to do with the land in Ashanti Mampong.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
Auditors.
We are in court.
Is that the case that there was a mix-up? Because from the report, we have 1, 2, 3, A to E. A is, we've dealt with that. B, Ashanti region, you've spoken to that. Then there's Jamasi Ashanti region as well, before Mampong Equiapem, according to the list. So, auditors, can you help give us some clarity? Because MD seems to be suggesting that the Mampong issue is what is the issue, but Jamasi, where you have indicated that 15 acres of unsecured land, which was sold, was alleged that the chief gave away to a private individual, is not in Ashanti, but is part of Mampong Equiapem.
No.
Ashanti is in Ashanti.
Hohoi, the Hohoi relay station and the revenue and lines office, which covers 14.713 acres of land. According to the auditors, it has been encroached upon. What is the state of that?
Thank you. We have engaged these encroachers, and they are claiming to be original landowners. We are working to see if we have to pursue a legal action, and that is where we are with them. But our understanding is that, and they are making the claim that when the land was given to us, there was no compensation paid. We are doing our investigation to get to understand what the problem is before we take a decision on the route to take. Thank you.
Okay, so with regards to this 5, A, B, C, D, E, the recommendation is that you fence the lands and obtain the necessary documentation. So far, you've confirmed only 1 of the 5 which has been fenced. How many documents have you obtained besides the one that is being contested in court for the 5 in question? So there will be 3 left that you ought to have the documentation or have commenced the processes of getting the documentation.
If you go, like the one at Session Bosio, so I explained it, where we are with the chief. Jamasi, I've explained where we are with the court process.
Yes.
Mampong Equiapem is a court process.
Yes.
And Volta, we have engaged them to see where, and to also investigate and trace and be sure that When this was given to GBC, compensation was paid. We are yet to establish the facts.
Okay,
this
so
is under investigation.
because of this, you have not been able to commence the formal processes.
You have to clear all of this before you can start the process.
Okay, but at least one has been walled.
Oh yeah, Ashanti, Kumasi, yes.
Yeah, auditors, it is your report. No. You've heard the dialogue. What do you have to say with regards to the responses given?
Honorable Chair, what we can confirm is that for Kumasi is walled. Tamari is currently ongoing, the warring is ongoing. The rest, they are yet to ward them and the necessary documents obtained. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, this is the current state of affairs with regards to JBC's many lands. And they don't have documentations. Some are being contested. I yield to you.
All right, sir, thank you. The next infraction is on paragraph 2281. Honorable Admako Kisi will take that one.
Yes, Chairman, this is actually about 37 plus vehicles that were grounded during the audit. And the recommendation was that processes for auction had to be done. May we know if we've started and how many have been auctioned off?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. We have listed all these vehicles, and some of these vehicles have been fixed and they are on the road, about 3 of them. The rest, we have listed them, and our board was actually inaugurated yesterday, and we are ready to submit it for the Board of Survey to be established. So when the board has its first meeting, it will be one of the items on the agenda.
Just for clarification, can we know the ones that have been fixed so that we mark them off? And then how many are left out of the 37? And the timing might not be too favorable, but then again,
yeah, I have the vehicle numbers here. I just, for example, GE 6739W is back to the road. And then GE
Sir,
6732.
I'm sorry, the numbers wouldn't help us.
So I will need to.
37 vehicles, how many have been fixed?
Only 3.
Only 3, that's it.
And the rest will go.
All right, so audit service, can you confirm that 3 are functional and working now?
Honorable Chair, we can confirm that 3 are now functioning, and the car numbers are GZ 0601-16 673W, GE 6732W. Thank you.
All right, Chairman, please, that'll be everything.
All right, thank you very much, sir. The next one is on paragraph 2286. Honorable Sophia, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. 286, your infraction has to do with unearned salary. And we have 2 names here, Priscilla Wase and Charles Wilson. Can you tell us how that came by? Because I think from here, they all resigned. And Priscilla is not in the country. So how come they receive salary?
Thank you. I will invite my Director of Human Resource to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the question is, has to do about how it happened. So, Mr. Chair, what happened was that they took their leave, traveled outside, and they did not return. All efforts to reach them proved futile. But what we have done, so by the time we realized that they were not coming back, they have received salaries, and we have taken steps to stop further payment and have also attached their entitlement to the salaries they wrongfully earned.
So when did they resign? When did they put in their resignation letter?
Mr. Chair, they did not resign per se. They just vacated post.
From the table here, it says that type of separation is resignation. That is on the table here. On page paragraph 2, table 241.
Yes, Mr. Chair. It was after persistent calls to them about the irregular nature by which they departed that they submitted their resignation.
So you said after persistence. So it means that in a way you got to reach them before they brought in their resignation. So why didn't you take the money from them then?
We had made several attempts for them to refund the money, but Mr. Chair, they did not cooperate with us.
How did you reach them by attempting? Because you say you attempted. Did you reach family members? How did you get to them?
Mr. Chair, they have friends within the corporation, and we use them to contact them.
Chairman, I think I hit.
Hey. On end salary. Now, paragraph 2291, failure to remit revenue to designated account. And we are talking about 1.8 million. What has happened to this account?
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. I think these are regional operations. So what we do is that at the regions, they are supposed to daily deposit monies into a specific account, and then we will send back their interest. Now, when this came up, we were able to track down all these monies, and we made sure that they were deposited in the right accounts, and the necessary conciliations were done to ensure that the corrections were done. That's what we did.
Auditors, could you confirm if the corrections have been done?
Yes, Honorable Chair, what happened is that the regional offices are supposed to retain 80% for their utilities bills and transfer 20% to the head office. Thank you.
Okay, the next infraction is on paragraph 2299, non-payment of Social Security contributions to contract staff. What has happened? As non-payment of Social Security contributions for contract staff.
The anomaly has been rectified, Honorable Chairman, and all these payments have been made.
Can the auditors confirm, please?
Honorable Chair, all the payment has been sent to SNATE. Thank you.
Okay, now we go to paragraph 2306, unaccounted revenue of 28,000.
The Honorable Chairman, the said staff, Mr. Ebenezer Azu, was put through a disciplinary process, and he was duly punished, and also we also agree with him on a payment plan to recover these monies. As we speak, he has paid about 14,000 cedis, and recently the Yoko office in Western region started to pick up on the case. And so he's currently working with them to ensure that all these payments are done.
Thank you. Unremitted holding taxes, several purchases, several transactions. The total amount is 16,131 cedis. And have you remitted them to the
Mr. Chairman, we have done that. We have regularized these things, and these payments have been made.
Auditors, can you confirm that the remittances have been done?
Honorable Chair, the outstanding amount has been remitted to GRE.
Okay, thank you. Chairman.
Okay, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. I guess we are, you have a question to ask?
Chairman, public interest questions.
Let's go on. Let's move on. Has he cleared the field? Yeah, with chair. Has he cleared the field? Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Permission granted.
Chairman, as you know, when organizations appear before us, members of the public would usually send us questions to ask on your behalf. And I believe you've been made aware that a number of members have some questions to ask. Mr. Chairman, I want to know from the Managing Director of GBC whether GBC lands have been leased recently. And if so, how many lands have been leased and how much revenue has the corporation realized from leasing GBC lands? Those who are contesting me, I can ask specific questions about specific lands. For example, the lease of the Pong land.
Let the man say if he can answer it.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. I think the Pong land is currently being subleased, not leased. And the transaction is ongoing. We had to seek approval to use it to raise funds to pay what had been outstanding for GBC and its retirees, what you would normally call long service awards. So we were given approval to sublease and raise money to pay out these, I don't want to say legacy debt, but that is what they are, Mr. Chairman. Debt that have been standing in our books for many years. And that is what we are doing. It is currently ongoing.
Chairman, so he has confirmed that the information is authentic. He agrees that the corporation has subleased, and he has given a reason. But he has not told us how much. How can it be ongoing when he has talked about revenue from the sublease, which has been used to defray what he described as legacy debt?
Do you have an answer to that question?
I don't have specific figures to give now, but the transaction is not concluded. Thank you.
Okay. So there's no documentation to that effect?
Absolutely, there are documentations, and they are all in the office. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can you request that the documents be tendered?
I don't think, this is an ambush. This is an ambush, and I don't think.
It's a public interest question. How can it be an ambush?
Please. This is an ambush. There's no issue that has been risen here out of that issue. So why do we want to request the document of a private transaction between, please.
It's public
allow
land.
Me to talk. If you come and sit here, you can do what you like. This is a transaction that no issue has been raised by the auditors. But you are asking him to provide this document. For what? That is not the procedure here.
Very well, Chairman. Let me proceed. I have a last one. Please, with your indulgence. I want to know from the MD whether he is aware that GBC lands in Tamale have been leased for the building of a Chinatown mall? And if so, what is he doing about it? If he's aware.
Do you have an answer to that question?
Yes, I will, at least what I know about what he's referring to was a processes that happened in Tamale, and when we found out that our interest was affected, we negotiated a certain benefit for corporate GBC. And so it was something done irregular. We confronted them, we threatened to go to court, and we went to sit down and we negotiated, and they built 4 staff housing units for GBC, 2 bedrooms each. And as we speak, our staff are enjoying these facilities.
Chairman, I will yield. There's more, but let's keep this for now.
Chairman, whilst I admit or agree that we may ask public interest questions, 1 or 2 occasionally, I think that we should not turn this committee into a question and answer session of Parliament. If any member has such questions, he can always file and ask the minister to come and answer. This committee has a specific mandate, and we should not turn into another question and answer committee. That is my candid view. Thank you.
First one, Chairman, you see, some of these issues were raised somewhere, just like the Kumasi lands. You know, we talk about the Kumasi lands. Kumasi, we have this Adom Gardens and Garden City, where workers raised concerns. So there are so many concerns.
Once he asked about, were not raised.
But the Kumasi
They
land,
were not raised by the auditors. And you see, if it has been raised, they would have come prepared to answer questions.
So
but you don't just bring any question and ask them to give you.
Let me learn.
Okay.
Was raised by the auditors.
Okay, so let me ask that one.
There's ones he's talking about. Were not raised by anybody. And there's no issue with those ones. So why should you? If he has a question, you should ask the minister.
Chairman, in Kumasi, workers raised issues about evaluation of both Adom and Garden City lands. How much did the corporation generate from it?
MD, do you have an answer to that question?
Need some clarity. Yeah. Again, if I could be very clear about the question, I don't.
I'm saying that in Kumasi, workers raised issues about the evaluation of both Adom and Garden City lands. So the question is, how much did the corporation generate from it? What, again, is the relation between Heritage Restaurant and GBC Apijua land?
MD, do you have any answers to this?
Kumasi Garden City land is not under any transaction. It's intact as we speak. Adom land is a conversation between GBC and the Bank of Ghana, and it is not an open market transaction. That's what I can say now.
You see, Rankin, the issue is when people know that these agencies are coming, they send us lots of information. I could have asked you several questions, but not now. We'll find the time to do it. MD, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, that is it for you. You are dismissed.
Thank you.
I mean discharged. I didn't mean dismissed. No, you are discharged. Don't misquote me anywhere. Now, we have Graphic Corporation. Please introduce yourself to the committee, please.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Atu Afo, Managing Director, Graphic Communications Group Limited.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Samuel Essel, Director of Finance and Administration, Graphic Communications Group.
Honorable Chairman, my name is Richard Owusu-Efriye, Director of Audit, Graphic Communication Group. Thank you.
Okay, ranking member will take care of the financials.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. I realize that you increased your revenue by 10 million, 10.5 million. That is revenue from. And then you also increase your IGF by another 9 million. That is good. But what accounted for the quantum increase between 2021 and 2022?
Honorable Chairman, the increase in the revenue basically has to do with additional jobs that we did, both from the graphic side and then also from our subsidiary GPAC, where we print textbooks and other things. With regards to the other income, the increase has to do with a revaluation surplus from revaluation of assets that we did in the year. Thank you.
And you treat that as other income?
So we revalued three properties. One of them is an investment property, for which reason
It's an investment what?
It's an investment property. The purpose for which we are keeping it, in accounting sense, we term that as an investment property. So this is a treatment for that.
Okay. So I praise you, Kwa. Then I'm surprised. I have withdrawn my praise. I'm looking at about 34% increase in your general and administrative expenses. Why?
So the increase in the general and admin expenses are driven by two things. One of it has to do with the depreciation, increase in depreciation from the revaluation of the assets that we did, because immediately we revalued that in the first year, the depreciation will go up to match with the new values of the properties.
So how much was the value attributable to revaluation? How much of depreciation is attributable to revaluation?
I can't say that on top of my head at the moment, but I know that there were two drivers. I mean, given time, I can give you the exact number, but those are the two things. The second thing that caused the increase has to do with exchange losses. You know that in the year 2022, we began the year with an exchange rate of 6 cedis to the USD. By the end of the year, it was about 15, and then it tapered down to about 12. Now, that increase gave us a huge exchange loss because 90% of our raw materials are sourced from outside. Our machine parts are sourced from outside, and these ones, we source them on a credit. So without doing anything, the liabilities that we had more than doubled, and for which reason we had a huge exchange loss in the year.
So going forward, we don't expect this huge increase in general expenses and administration. Is that right?
Honorable Chair, I say that cautiously. The reason is that the exchange losses are a factor of the foreign currency liabilities that we hold vis-a-vis the movement in the exchange rates. What we try to do is to try and minimize the exposure by paying off the debts a bit earlier. But the depreciation of the cedi to the USD is something that is out of our control. But what is within our control, we do manage that.
Okay. I think it looks okay. Though, even though your surplus has increased by 1.3 million. 1.3 million between the two periods. So I just hope you take steps to minimize your expenditure. You see, I'm looking at your corporation, and it's, I actually took the trouble to look at your gross profit. It's huge. The corporation with such a huge gross profit should be making profit if you manage your expenses well, all things being equal. So I urge you to try and minimize your expenses so that you have about over 34% gross profit, and it's unusual in most industries. Thank you. Okay, Kofi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I only wanted to look at the income tax expenses. 2021, 320,178. 2022, it dropped drastically to 114,894. But if you look at the associated expenses that could lead to this figure, they have all gone up. Why will your income tax expenses drop when other related expenses that will lead to income tax have seen an increase? Can you explain?
Honorable Chair, these results you are seeing is a combination of two companies, Graphic and GPAC. So these are the group results.
Please, it's not. The results for Graphic GPAC is in the books. You haven't looked at it. Look at paragraph 2345. That is the result of GPAC. It's in the auditor's book. So when you said the expenditure is both GPAC and I didn't want to worry you, but it's not accurate.
Honorable Chair, these are the consolidated accounts. So for Graphic, we prepare consolidated accounts. So GPAC would have their accounts separately, but in our case, we prepare the consolidated account. So they are in a tax payable position, but we are not. That is why you see income tax expense there. So the income tax expense there typically is related to GPAC.
So what are we to make of the account on page 509, which is for GPAC performance? And how am I supposed to, having seen that one, assume that this one is consolidated?
Because the amounts are the same. What he's saying may be true, because it's all 320, 178 for 2021 and 114,896. But it still makes my point valid, whether we are looking at what is at page 509 or at page 502. The question is, in 2021, if you look at all your expenditure, which will relate directly to the tax, and you look at the 2022, your expenditure, which will be relating to the tax component, whether here called taxation or described here as income tax expenses, why should that figure be dropping when your expenditure, when the other related expenses are high? If you want, let me just be specific. If you look at expenditure, cost of sales went up to 49 million. Selling and distribution expenses, 8.6 million. General and administrative expenses, 31 million from 23. Finance cost was a little bit higher than the previous year. But then when you come to income tax expenses, whilst 2021 was 320,178, 2022 was only 114,894. And I'm saying it's difficult for me to understand why all these other figures went up in 2022, but when it came to income tax expenses, we are dropping instead of getting a higher figure there also. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. So income tax expense is a function of your profit before tax and then allowed and disallowable expenses. Now, when your profit before tax goes down, your income tax expense will go down. When we decouple these two group company results and you look at GPAC alone, you would see that the income tax expense went down because in the year 2022, they didn't make as much profits as the previous year. In addition, also, to arrive at the income tax expense, the tax people would look at the allowable and disallowable expenses. So the numbers you are seeing here are all expenses together, but when you're looking at the tax portion, you need to pick out only allowable and disallowable expenses, for which reason you are seeing a lower amount in this year as opposed to last year.
Well, what I would advise is that maybe we should completely decouple them, because even when you go to page 506, which deals with GPAC, it's still the same figures as we have under graphics, so we can see the true picture. Thank you.
Okay. The next infraction is a paragraph 2325, Honorable Bauer.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And the third infraction is loss of revenue. And you were cited for loss of revenue to the tune of 236,000 due to the reproduction of previously published adverts as a result of errors committed by officers within the production chain. And this condition is termed make good advertisements by the graphic group. And there's a table here that catalogs all the details of such adverts. That's table 349. So, and the auditors are saying that the errors occurred as a result of bad print outs from the production department, mistakes from design unit, use of inappropriate inks, among others, and the lack of effective supervision from safety, health, and environmental unit. So the recommendation is that management should investigate the cause of the errors and then put in place the necessary controls to reduce such incidents. What are the controls that you have been able to put in place? And can you tell us subsequently whether we have had these losses again? These losses again. That is make good adverts. Whether subsequently you are still doing make good adverts.
Honorable Chair, when you look at the breakdown of the items which have been indicated, a lot more of it had to do with machine malfunctioning, and then a few of them human errors here and there. So when you look at the audit report, we later clarified to the auditors that a lot more of it had to do with machine malfunction. And the reason is because the machine that we're using is pretty old. So time and again, you get a few issues here and there and everything. But after this particular thing, what we've done is that in the last 1 year, we've invested about 1.2 million on vital spare parts to be able to fix the machine. So predominantly, the machine is in a better state now than before. So all of these issues are no longer happening. We've also trained our staff to be able to avoid some of these issues happening. But in a normal printing industry, it is a constant training and retraining of people, and then also taking pragmatic measures to ensure that these breakdowns do not occur as often as they used to be, so that we have an improved position.
Auditors, can you confirm that this practice has ceased and that now there's an improvement in their production?
Honorable Chair, we'll be able to confirm during our subsequent audit, where we'll be able to know whether this investment they are talking about is actually happening. Said things are not happening again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That will be all for me.
The next infractions on paragraph 2332, Honorable Park.
Grateful Chairman, procurement above head of entity threshold, 7,536,941 Ghana cedis. The auditors have recommended that under Section 92 of the Public Procurement Act, as amended, that sanctions under Section 92 of the Procurement Act 2003 as amended should be applied. They also recommended to management to always adhere to the provisions of the Act at 663 as amended. Management's response was that the procurements were approved by the entity tender committee that it had at the time. It further said the minutes of the meeting and related documents were available at the procurement office for review. Auditors, when you made your recommendation, management responded, and your position was that you inspected the procurement documents after management's response and did not cite any minutes or documents by both the entity tender committee or the central tender review committee approving the purchase of the items in question. So, Graphic Corporation, the auditors didn't agree with your position. And that would mean that it should be sanctioned. Or you've been able to provide them with the evidence that they needed.
Honorable Chair, so what we had before, and I think that at the last public accounts hearing that we appeared, we did explain on a similar issue that there was an interpretation issue because of the status of our company, whether or not we were to fall under the PPA. And I remember that when we concluded, we did say that we have subsequently now instituted an anti-tender committee. Prior to that, and within this particular period, what we had was our board approval, and then we had our own internal entity, an internal procurement committee that were reviewing all of these, which is what we provided to the auditors. But they clarified to us that what they were looking for was the anti-tender committee under the PPA Act. So again, we didn't have that then, and because of those clarities, but as we explained here, we commissioned our anti-tender committee in 2023, that was in April 2023, in conformance with the Public Procurement Act.
Let's cut it short. Chairman, this has to do with procurement matters. The auditors have recommended action. I will yield to you.
The recommendation is that sanctions under Section 92 of the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663 as amended, should be applied. And so, clerk, try and process them so that they go to the Attorney General for prosecution. You can send your explanations over there, and the judge may listen to you. The next one is on paragraph 2340. Honorable Kisi.
Thank you, Chairman. This has to do with vehicles that were purchased through a number of companies and are still in the name of the companies after several years. I'm sure that payments or loan agreements have been already settled, and auditors were recommended that you transfer to company. Has this been done for all 7 vehicles?
Honorable Chair, out of the 7 vehicles, 4 have been done, 1 has been sold, 1 has been auctioned, basically, and then we still have 2 that we are currently going through the change of ownership process between ourselves and DVLA.
Audit Service, can you confirm the auction of 1, correction of ownership of 4, and then 2 that are ongoing?
Been changed to the group names. 1 has been auctioned, and the rest are ongoing.
Chairman, I think that's everything for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Graphic Communications Group. Okay, I'll allow that. Very short.
Graphic, you are the most powerful media platform, at least, if I'm right in saying so, in terms of the publishing sector. But I know things have not been the way they should. You are being chased here and there. Sometimes we read that people are chasing after you for one thing or the other, seizing some of your assets here and there. And because of what we do, we engage some of your staffs also who do complain about some welfare issues. We all suffer, even Parliament here, sometimes it travels into the next month before you get your pay hitting your account. What are you doing to regain your status and at least deal with welfare issues? What are you doing?
Honorable Chair, so rightly so, as you said, once in a while a business gets into a bit of a difficulty, we take measures and then we come back. We are doing a number of things, both on the cost side and the revenue side. Now, some of the things we are doing is some initiatives we've brought to cut down costs. And sometimes when you look at our financials, you will see that especially within like distribution and also production costs, we've been able to take some measures to cut down the costs. We have also invested a lot in the online area. In fact, we do have some very good investment that we finished recently in the online area to be able to take advantage of where the world is going now with regards to their business and everything to shore up their revenues. But these things take time to mature. You know, you will get the benefits of these over time. And so I believe that with time, we will see these results coming in. But within a short time, it's very difficult to see the benefits of these, and you may make a wrong judgment as far as some of these are concerned.
Thank you very much. Graphic Corporation, you are discharged. Now, honorable members, we are sitting tomorrow, and some of the ministries that we are coming to join us will be Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of Defense, and extra ministerial agencies. That's National Media Commission and National Commission for Civic Education. We are hereby adjourned till tomorrow morning, tomorrow at 9 in the forenoon.